Sorry about that. And today is 11th of February 2026. The verse which have been given to me to discuss today is 4th canto, 22nd chapter, verse number 10. So let us start with Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Jana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Jana Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Mona Tiravan Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravan Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुब्रमण्य की जय राधा माधव की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय पिता गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, welcome all of you, Prabhuji's Matajis, Hare Krishna. So, we will discuss this verse. We'll first recite this verse, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, verse number 10. अधनापि ते धन्याः साधवो गृहमेधिनः यद्गृहायर्हवर्याम्बु तृणभूमीश्वरावराः अधनापि ते धन्याः साधवो गृहमेदिनः यद्गृहाह्यर्तवर्याम्बु तृणभूमीश्वरावराः अधनापि ते धन्याः साधवो गृहमेदिनः यद्गृहाह्यर्हवर्याम्बु तृणभूमीश्वराश्वराः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Any two of you can, one Prabhu and one Mataji can recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
अदनापि ते धन्या साधवो गृहमेदिनः यद्गृहाह्यर्हवर्याम्बो तृणाभूमीश्वरावराः हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna. Yes, Nirmala Mataji, you wanted to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. अधना अपि ते धन्याः साधवो गृहमेधिनः यद्गृहाह्यर्ह्यपर्याम्बु तृणभूमीश्वराश्वराः हरे कृष्ण
Hare
प्रभुजी.
Krishna. So, synonyms word to word meaning. Vadanaha, not very rich. Api, although. Te, they. Danyaha, glorious. Sadhavaha, saintly persons. Grahamedinaha, persons who are attached to family life. Yadgrihaha, whose house? He, certainly. Arha, Varya, the most worshipable. Ambu, water. Trina, grass. Bhumi, land. Ishvara, the master. Avaraha, the servants. Translation and purport by Divine Geshe Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please hear the translation and purport. A person who is not very rich and is attached to family life becomes highly glorified when saintly persons are present in his home. The master and servants who are engaged in offering the exalted visitors water, a sitting place, and paraphernalia for reception are glorified, and the home itself is also glorified. But materially, if a man is not very rich, he is not glorious, and spiritually, if a man is too attached to family life, he is also not glorious. But saintly persons are quite ready to visit the house of a poor man or a man who is attached to material family life. When this happens, the owner of the house and his servants are glorified because they offer water for washing the feet of a saintly person, sitting places, and other things to receive him. The conclusion is that if a saintly person goes to the house of even an unimportant man, such a person becomes glorious by his blessings. It is therefore the Vedic system. The householder invites a saintly person in his home to receive his blessings. This system is still current in India, and therefore saintly persons, wherever they go, are hosted by the householders, who in turn get an opportunity to receive transcendental knowledge. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to travel everywhere, just to favor the householders who are generally ignorant of the values of spiritual life. It may be argued that all householders are not very rich and that one cannot receive great saintly persons or preachers because they are always accompanied by their disciples. If a householder is to receive a saintly person, he has to receive his entourage also. It is said in the Shastras that Durvasa Muni was always accompanied by 60,000 disciples. That if there was a little discrepancy in their reception, he would be very angry and would sometimes curse the host. The fact is that every householder, regardless of his position or economic condition, can at least receive saintly guests with great devotion and offer them drinking water. For drinking water is available always. In India, the custom is that even an ordinary person is offered a glass of water if he suddenly visits, and one cannot offer him foodstuff. If there is no water, then one can offer a sitting place, even if it is on a straw mat. And if one has no straw mat, he can immediately cleanse the ground and ask the guest to sit there. Supposing that a household cannot even do that, then with folded hands, he can simply receive the guest, saying welcome. And if he cannot do that, then he should feel very sorry for his poor condition and shed tears and simply offer obeisances with his whole family, wife, and children. In this way, he can satisfy any guest, even if the guest is a saintly person or a king. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Mom Gyantamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadati Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Mashtavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Saganalita Shri Vishakavatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Nirmurtute Tapta Kanyan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shubhansute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpataru Vyasya Kripa Sandhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayati Akila Shakti Dharasvadamna Anyam Cha Hasta Charana Shravanatagadin Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tabhyam Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangam Lingaitagiri Ekkapadam Amida Pramadam Namo Vishnu 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 Bhutali Srimati Mahavishnu Swamiti Ramani Namo Vishnu 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 Bhutali Sarvakti Vidasam Dirvisheshwani Vapachya Deshani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna Vargas Mataji's. Thank you for this opportunity for glorifying Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and trying to purify ourselves. So this chapter is entitled Prithu Maharaj's meeting with the four Kumaras. And the previous chapter we would have seen, right? Instructions by Maharaj Prithu. Now this verse, 4:20 to 10, shows us about Graha Medina, means persons who are attached to family life and how they can be elevated by welcoming saintly persons. And also the way how to welcome saintly persons. Right? See, Prabhupada says in the purport, right? Materially, if a man is not very rich, he is not glorious. And spiritually, if a man is too attached to family life, he is also not glorious. But saintly persons who are ready to visit the house of a poor man or a man who is attached to material life, right? They are ready to visit, even though they are not glorious. So when this happens, when a saintly person is ready to go, the owner of the house and the servants they are glorified because the householders and people in the house they offer water for washing the feet of a saintly person. They offer him a sitting place, right? And other paraphernalia to receive him with garlands, right? Arati and all. See, the conclusion is that if a saintly person goes to the house of even an unimportant man, okay, such a person becomes glorious by his blessings. So therefore, Vedic system, that a householder, it's a Vedic system, right? That a householder welcome and invite saintly people in his home to receive their blessings. And they see this system is still there in India. And so therefore saintly persons, no, wherever they go, they are hosted by the householders, Garastas, right? Who in turn get an opportunity to receive transcendental knowledge. So therefore, it is the duty of a sannyasi to travel everywhere. For what purpose? Just to favor the householders. Because generally the householders are ignorant of the values of spiritual life. See, a saintly person, he can easily enter a poor man's house. And thus a poor man can take advantage, of the saintly person's association. Whereas, see, you can see a very opulent person, right? Rich man and all. They do not allow anyone to enter their house. Forget about saintly people. So according to the Vedic system, a saintly person takes the position of a mendicant, so that just on the plea of begging something from the household, right, he can enter any house. Maybe not entering directly, but he can go and begging, so somebody might give something. So that is a blessing, right? See, householder was usually forgotten everything about spiritual advancement, no? Because he's busy maintaining family affairs. But such people can be benefited by the association of a saintly person. There's a great chance for him to be liberated through association with the acharyas, the great saintly people. See, Prabhupada says in the purport, one of the purports, of what use are persons who are puffed up with material opulence and prestige if they are bereft of the association of saintly persons and devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have riches, everything is there, but you don't have the association of devotees. What use, right? See, some years back, my Guru Maharaj was very ill, right? He was in the hospital, I think Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mumbai. One of my god brothers, means everybody used to feel, no, when we call, Maharaj immediately picks up, we can speak to him quickly. He responds very much. But now, because there, we are not able to do so as before. So that god brother, he asked my other god brother, who used to have a lot of, he was very personally very much service oriented with Maharaj, always associating Maharaj. So he asked him, no, it's very difficult, Prabhuji. How can we? We feel the difference. We feel like lonely. Now we are not able to speak to him. He said, yes, Prabhuji, it must have been very nice to hear Maharaj, right? And he said, as time goes on, Guru's health and age is there, right? So it becomes a real challenge for each of us to intensify our relationship with Guru. So he said the platform for this association will be undoubtedly be our serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting and loving dealings with each other. This will please Guru. What are those? Serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting, and loving dealings with each other. See, Guru Maharaj, he is happy when we all cooperate with each other. All the acharyas, they will be happy when we all cooperate with each other. That is the greatest uh, learnings we should understand. Because why we have to cooperate? Because we are all in the modes, right? Even if in the devotees association, all inevitably there will be dissensions. But our challenge is to rise above the modes and come together in devotional service to please Guru and Krishna and Prabhupada. See, initially when you join, get initiated, we speak with everything, right? We take spiritual masters association for granted. That I will be able to talk to him, associate with him anytime. This is a big aparat at the lotus feet of the Lord and also in the lotus feet of the spiritual master. See, it is only because of the causeless mercy that the spiritual master, the Guru, he is concerned about our well being, both spiritually and materially. And he talks to us and encourages us. Otherwise, if you look at ourselves, we can see with all our sinful thoughts and actions, we cannot dream of to get the association of such saintly Mahatmas in millions of lifetimes. So it will be very good to remember the prayer submitted by Prithu Maharaj unto the Sanat Kumaras. In this chapter only, 16th was actually, in this context, it is befitting to great souls like Guru, Prabhupada and Krishna. It says the Supreme Personal Godhead is always anxious to elevate the living entities. See, Supreme Personal Godhead is always anxious to elevate the living entities who are his parts and parcels and for their special benefit. For their special benefit, the Lord travels all over the world in the form of self-realized persons like you. Prabhupada is telling to Sanat Kumaras. See, definitely pure devotees in the footsteps of Prabhupada, who are in the lineage of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are expansions of the Supreme Lord traveling all over the world to give us Krishna Prema. They say in all the acharyas in our parampara, they are such great souls to uplift us in Krishna consciousness and take us back to Godhead. That's why they always encourage us. See, words of encouragement are a constant need for all the conditioned living entities. See, very often we feel depressed, dejected on account of various material situations, right? Which are burning us day in and day out. That's why my Guru Maharaj always says, be encouraged in devotional service. Be encouraged in devotional service. Be courageous. He always used to say, be encouraged in devotional service. Be courageous. And he said, as it is, your problems drag you down. So why to become discouraged and add another problem to your already existing problem? So we can see how the Lord is teaching the lesson on how to respond to someone's anxiety in Bhagavatam 3:929. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ma Veda Garbha Gastandrim Sarga Udyamam Avaha Tanmaya Paditam Yagre Janmam Pratayate Bhavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, because Brahma was worried about he's given the opportunity to create, right? So he's thinking of how to do and all. He's worried. So he's seeking the blessings of the Lord. So he said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. Magas Garbhat Gas Tandrim. Ma Veda Garbhat Gas Tandrim. He says, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. This is what the Lord is telling to Brahma. See, the first phrase used by the Lord is Ma Veda Garbha Gas Tandrim. Do not get depressed. Oh, depth of Vedic wisdom. Na means no. Ma means double no. So Lord is re-emphasizing that Brahmaji should not get depressed. So whenever we meet each other, we should encourage one another by reminding these words, Magas Tandrim. Whenever people come to us with problems, we tend to become Paradukka Sukhi. Paradukka Sukhi. We become internally happy, right? See, we do not have any genuine concern or compassion for that living entity. Internally, we say he deserves more because he is not listening to me. See, also see, the expression of the Lord is also wonderful. He is addressing Brahmaji as Veda Garbha. You are the depth of Vedic wisdom. And whatever you are asking is already granted to you before. So the Lord, he appreciates Lord Brahma for his depth of Vedic wisdom and thus encourages him in the matter of executing the creation. Our nature is to find fault with everyone and discourage them. See, the thing is, we should encourage the people to be devotees. Never discourage. See, please encourage yourself first of all to study these things. And encourage yourself and others also. See, everywhere the encouragement is needed. Okay. And encouragement is Krishna consciousness. So this quality of encouraging and appreciating the living entities is very much important for us to imbibe. We have all taken up the process of devotional service, mainly because of the encouragement and appreciation, right, given by our gurus. See, we do not deserve any appreciation, being completely under the modes, and we are actually worthy of rejection by the gurus. But my Guru Maharaj was so broad-minded, right? He has not only accepted but also appreciated. See, the Lord is referred as Atma Bhavanaha, one who is always wishing to elevate the living entities. See, especially in Kali Yuga, anybody taking to devotional service of the Lord, it has become a rare phenomenon. See, our tendency is that we appreciate only those who are appreciating us. Correct. If somebody is finding fault with us, we just ignore them or condemn them. Sometimes when devotees, when they go away, stray away from the devotional service, we should feel repentant and try to see their difficulties and encourage them in devotional service. But our tendency is that if some devotees do not come for programs, We simply conclude that devotee is not interested in devotional service and is in Maya. Our tendency is to put them down. See, already they are in the threshold of leaving the devotee association. And by our behavior, we worsen the situation. My Guru Maharaj says, how can we conclude that the devotee is in Maya? We do not know. Maybe he is performing devotional service at home. We should be encouraging and guiding all the souls coming to devotional service by not only ensuring their spiritual well-being, but their material well-being also. So unless they are materially placed very nicely, they are not being consistent in spiritual upliftment. See, somebody asked the question to my Guru, "Maharaj, after a few years of performing devotional service, we feel we have not made any tangible improvement in our lives." So he lovingly encouraged, saying, see, while we are flying in a plane, before takeoff, when the flight moves on the runway, we feel that the plane is moving very fast because we see that the buildings and objects are moving backwards very fast. Correct? It's moving fast. And after the flight takes off and starts flying in the sky, we just see the clouds around us and we feel that there is no movement. But the truth is that the flight is moving at a faster rate than on the runway. We can understand the journey we have made only when the flight reaches the destination. So this example very beautifully said. So don't worry, you are definitely making progress. You just not think of whether making or not. Just continue going your devotional service. See, maturity is a gift. It cannot be cultivated. Gift can be there if you behave good. If 10% Krishna consciousness is there, then he will give the gift of maturity. See, the Supreme Person of Godhead as Paramatma is sitting within everyone's heart, trying to elevate everyone to the platform of Krishna consciousness. That's why it's called Atma Bhavana. He's always trying to give the individual soul the intelligence to understand, right, the Lord. He's always with the individual as a friend, sitting by the side of a friend, right? And he gives facilities to all living entities according to their desires. It's a beautiful verse, 119:14 in Bhagavatam, spoken by Parishit Maharaj, where he says the Supreme Person of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world. So in this verse, Parikshit Maharaj accepts the curse. He did not complain or counteract, but he accepted this curse gracefully as Krishna's mercy. See, there is only one struggle we have to do. That is to understand Krishna through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to constantly pray to Krishna to apply Srimad Bhagavatam in our lives. See, struggle is good. Struggle is good. So we have to struggle for our whole lifetime. And one day, Krishna willing, we may try to realize the real importance of these verses in our lives. See, whenever somebody has been rude or harsh, right, harsh with us, or doesn't follow what we say or think, we feel insulted, right, and give them back in the same coin. And moreover, even after doing so, we are not at peace with ourselves. We already given it back, but still not peace. And we always keep brooding that he or her, she has done some more harm to me than what I have returned. So I should give more. Right? The other person also now becomes hostile towards us. So we are caught in the vicious cycle. So instead of coming out of the cycle of birth and death, we further entangle ourselves in another cycle, the cycle of revenge. So while instructing his son, Lord Parshurama, about the glories of forgiving nature, says Jamadagni, he says in Bhagavatam 9:15-40, he says the beauty of a Brahman. This is Kshamaya Rochate Lakshmir, Brahmi Sauri Yatha Prabha, Kshaminam Ashu Bhagavams, Tushyate Harir Ishvaraha. The duty of a Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is pleased with those who are forgiving. See why the exalted devotees are so forgiving and not bothered by offenses. Sripad Shankaracharya gives a beautiful example in this regard. A frog is trying to swallow an insect. A frog is trying to swallow an insect. And so it's very focused on the insect. Now, because it is so keen on the insect, it fails to observe a big snake which is behind it and ready to swallow it. In the same way, we all who have the mentality of tit for tat are so focused in taking revenge for offenses that we fail to recognize. Right? So we fail to recognize this. That time, snake is slowly swallowing us, and valuable human energy is wasted by this notorious plan for making revenge. So the time in pondering over offenses can be better utilized in spiritual life. The quality of forgiveness is better displayed when we forgive an offender who is within our scope of punishment. Please understand this point. Quality of forgiveness is better displayed when we forgive an offender who is within our scope of punishment. See, there are some offenders who cannot be punished by us. So it does not matter to them whether we forgive them or not. So in such cases, we should try to forget their offenses for our own benefit. Forget about it. My Guru Maharaj used to say, we should not only forgive, but also forget the fact that we have forgiven. Got it? We should not only forgive. This is we forgotten, okay? But we should not only forgive, but also forget the fact that we are forgiven. Because this is very important. Otherwise, it will unnecessarily create a feeling of pride in us. Oh, I have forgiven it. See, when someone hurts us, we should write it down in sand, where winds of forgiveness can erase it away. But when someone does something good for us, we must engrave it in stone, where no wind can ever erase it. See, during one of the Krishna conscious programs, when Mataji was taking classes, Mataji classes, right? So she said, when I was taking the program, no, when Mataji, you had just started recently coming to the programs. So she asked her, final exam for children are going on. How is it that in the midst of these exams, you have taken time to come to the program along with your children? She was simply amazed by the reply of that Mataji. She said, Mataji, we feel completely restless if you are unable to attend the program and hear Krishna Katha. This is what is expected of a devotee as per the Sanat Kumar's instructions to Prithu Maharaj. That is, one has to make progress in spiritual life by not associating with persons who are simply interested in sense gratification and making money. Not only such persons, but one who associates with such persons should be avoided. One should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari. That's what this message is, right? For the children, because without that they cannot be peaceful. So one can thus be elevated by being disgusted with a taste for sense enjoyment. See, the beginning of devotional service is to hear about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is recommended in this verse. Vina Hare Guna Piyusha Panat. One must drink the nectar of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this means that one must be always engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. It is the prime method for advancing in spiritual life. See, the purport is that one cannot live outside the society of devotees. One must live in the association of devotees, where there is constant chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Krishna conscious movement is started for this purpose, so that hundreds of centers may give people a chance to hear and chant, to accept the spiritual master, and to dissociate themselves from persons who are materially interested. For in this way, one can make solid advancement going back home, back to Godhead. That is the greatest gift of Srila Prabhupada to the whole world. Those who are able to have regular programs and have been attending the same for years, right? This is the greatest gift. So those who are doing this, those who have regular programs, are attending the same for years, what happens now? Slowly they develop the tendency for more taste. But sometimes it also happens that the tendency to take these programs for granted. Whereas every time we get the opportunity to attend these programs, we should remember our Guru Prabhupada and Krishna with immense gratitude. So these meetings are beneficial for everyone, without exception. It's very wonderfully explained by Sanat Kumaras in Bhagavatam. It says, when there is a congregation of devotees, their discussions, questions, and answers become conclusive to both the speaker and the audience. So such a meeting is beneficial for everyone's real happiness. Hearing discussions among devotees is the only means to receive the powerful message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For instance, Bhagavad Gita has been well known all over the world for a very long time, especially in the Western world. But because the subject matter was not discussed by devotees, there was no effect. Not a single person in the West became Krishna conscious before the Krishna conscious movement was founded. But when the same Bhagavad Gita was presented as it is, through the disciplic succession, through the parampara, through the authority, the effect of spiritual realization was immediately manifested. So the word Ubaye Sham can be described in many ways. Generally, there are two classes of men, the materialist and the transcendentalist. So by hearing discussions between devotees, both the materialist and transcendentalist are benefited. See, the materialist is benefited by association with devotees because his life then becomes regulated, so that his chance of becoming a devotee or making the present life successful for understanding the real position of the living entity is increased. So when one takes advantage of this opportunity, he is assured of a human form of life in the next birth, or he may be liberated completely and come back to Godhead. See, the conclusion is that if one participates in a discussion of devotees, he is both materially and spiritually benefited. So the speaker and the audience are both benefited. And the karmis and gyanis, they are also benefited. So the discussion of spiritual matters amongst devotees is beneficial for everyone without exception. So this makes us understand the way these meetings are to be conducted with great sincerity to glorify the Lord and broadcast his powerful messages. See, my Guru Maharaj always insisted that these programs have to be conducted with seriousness and sincerity and with conclusive discussions, not just discussing, arguing. There should not be any dilution of the messages which are handed out to us in the bona fide disciplic succession. It should not be reduced to one of social gathering and entertainment where we just come together in the weekends to enjoy. No, it's not be like that. So these meetings should help everyone to mold their lives in such a way that they cannot remain at peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of the Lord. And these meetings should help us to elevate one another in the path of spiritual understanding. Then that is the real success of these meetings in bringing real happiness to the living entities, right? So this will please Guru, Prabhupada, Krishna. So next time when we go to attend a Krishna conscious meeting program, number one, let us become sincere. Read as sincere. Sincere. Let us be sincere. Sincere, right? We should see our own sins, not the sins of others. So these programs make us see, understand, regret, and repent our life, sinful life, and help us to take up the regulated life of devotional service, by which all our sins are completely destroyed. Two, second point. Let us be serious because we are actually serious patients suffering from the disease of mental existence. And these Krishna conscious centers are like the hospitals, providing treatment with Krishna Katha and the diet of Krishna Prasada. And the third point is, let us be grateful because these meetings are gateway for our way back home, back to Godhead. So 3 points, right? When you come for another next program, when we attend any program next time, think about these 3 things. Let us become sincere, let us be serious, and let us be grateful. See, we are all very lucky to be in this age, Kali Yuga, right? Wherein just by chanting Krishna's names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we get out of all of the troubles. It's very easy. And because of these activities, we are never disturbed. The main reason for the disturbance is not to recognize our own constitutional position. Simply, we have to recognize that I am the servant. And the master, as it is, he provides everything. He will definitely provide if we come to this cover. And because we don't remember this, we are always in Kali Yuga. See, we are running always after the bodily necessities, correct? And we don't have any idea that the body itself is falling down. For the body to run 24 hours a day and years together, and even then the body gives way. So this is the truth. That is injunction in this word. That so we have to seriously consider this. Now the question comes before us in a practical life that how to practice these things. Shastras say that every time we have to be remembering, I am the servant of Krishna and we have to serve Krishna. That's it. I am the servant of Krishna and we have to serve Krishna. See, whereas we have to pay the rent, we have to have a car, expenses are there, everything is there. Somehow or the other, on the one hand, we should minimize our necessities, right? So this is the first thing that we have to do. Now we have already done that. Now we are in devotional Krishna consciousness. We are sitting here on the ground. Our houses are simple. No extravagance is there. So much so that even television is also absent in the temples at least. Maybe we have something in our house, but we have forgotten that also. It is there, but we are not watching as much as we used to before. So the respectable persons must be respected. Not only with words, but our actions also. Amanina man dena. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. We should never expect any respect for us, but be kind to others. So as soon as we have this humble position, we force ourselves, right? So we don't see always the pride clings, right? But humility is the first requirement. So in this chapter, Prithu Maharaj is an emperor. But even then, when he saw the 4 Kumaras descending, he was very happy to welcome them. Without reservation, he welcomes. So these are the tendencies to cultivate in our life with full heart. Otherwise, devotional service or the glimpse of Krishna here and there, we don't have at all. See, you may carry on in the temple for 20 years or 30 years, doesn't matter. See, we all here, we are sacrificed to some extent the sense gratificatory activities. So all the material desires have got to be completely forsaken. Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Mentally concocted desires only for our own happiness should stop now. Right? So how to do it, right? See, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So how to do it? Practically we have to work on it. Because so long as we have this body, we have the material necessities. That is without doubt. And to fulfill the material necessities in a minimum sense and try to completely divert your attention to Krishna, it is very difficult at least in this age. So Kali Yuga is very powerful. But those who abide by the scriptures, Kali Yuga really doesn't affect them. See, the Kali Yuga is definitely in front of us. And 6 effects are there, right? The first one is we are completely short lived. Hundreds, see, 100 years is regarded as our life. But hardly we see we are victimized by so many chronic diseases, right? Not only this, but the whole population is quarrelsome. And because of that small misunderstanding, it takes the form of big quarrel. Because of diversion, our attention is only diverted to the material necessities of the body. You know the root reason of the quarrel? Either money is involved, land is involved, or woman is involved. The three roots of Kali Yuga quarrel: man, money, land, woman. We let us try to think about these things. In one of the lectures, my Guru Maharaj said, we were in Bombay before we came here, and there was one family who came to see us. And the children were very nicely behaved. So I asked him, what is the reason? You are in a city like Bombay and your children are very Vedic. He says, one thing, have, sir, what I have done, that is, we don't have television in our house. One thing I have done, he said, we don't have television in our house. So these are the extravagance, unnecessary things should not be brought into our house. So this, see, there are four things that really kill us and kills our devotional service. There are the three O's and one A. Three O's and one A. So please remember these four things. First O is overeating. Prasad is prepared by temple, but your stomach is yours, isn't it? Size of the stomach doesn't increase. 6 inches. How much you can take in 6 inches? Don't overeat. If you don't overeat, you're out of Kali Yuga. As soon as you're eating is in the mode of goodness, your health will be all right. So that doesn't mean those who eat little or moderate eating, they don't fall sick. No, it's not like that also. Sickness is there. If it has to come, it will come. But the ratio is very less. The root of all sickness is undigested food in our stomach. So intake is moderate and very considerate, right? See, the stomach is the only place we could put something into our body. Correct. No other place. Nowhere else in the body you can put something in. This is the only place, and we have to be careful what you are putting into your body and how much also. That's why overeating should be stopped. This is the first O. Second O is over sense gratification. Over sense must be stopped. Ragadvesha. Ragadvesha vimuktestu vishyan indriyesh charan atma vishya vidheyatma prasadam adhigachati. This is the way to obtain the mercy of the Lord. So Krishna gives the formula. Ragadvesha vimuktestu. Attachment and hatred we should give up. Ragadvesha vimuktestu vishyan indriyesh charan. So let these senses just be satisfied to the minimum. And how? Atma Vashye will be completely under your control. See, mind must not take us here and there. Mind must be dictated that do like this. Mind must cooperate with us. Atma Vashye Vidhe Atma. Then there is a regulated freedom to enjoy. See, bodily existence, it requires some enjoyment. It do. The eating also is an enjoyment. But there it is regulated. Regulated freedom that we don't put fish, meat, or egg or anything into our mouth. See, not only that, Vaishnavas have decided that they will not eat outside. Suppose we are going somewhere and food is not there, then plenty of fruits are available. Nuts are there. Just drink water. Water will also help you to survive. So this regulated principle you follow in eating also, that is vidheyatma. So first one was overeating. Second is over sense gratification. Third O is over dependence on others' mercy. Over dependence on others' mercy. See, I only to that extent we should be dependent on ourselves. That we will cook our own food. If you have facility, don't allow anybody to cook your food. That is, see, yeah, that is complete over dependent. In other words, over sense gratification is there. See, somebody cooks and we stuff our stomach. Come on, come on, come on. Right? No. If we cook, then we will cook only that quantity which will satisfy us. So we know what we are cooking. Bhagavad Gita says within 3 hours you should consume the prasadam. And the source of maintenance is something which is only nourished by Krishna himself and in our own constitutional position. As soon as we cultivate this idea firmly, that I am Krishna's servant. Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishnera Nityadas. Then you are out of difficulty. Bhojanachadane Vrtaha Chinta Kurvanti Vaishnavaha. Those who are Vishnu Bhaktas, unnecessarily they don't worry. They don't worry about Bhojan and Achadan. Achadan. Achadan means the roof over our head and shelter. See, it is going to be provided, provided you are within your limits of the instructions of Krishna. So these are the three O's, right? What are those? Overeating, over sense gratification, and over dependence on others' mercy. And the A is one A, that was artificial standard of living. See, it is in our interest to follow the instructions very carefully. Otherwise, if we don't follow means irregular habits will be there. And that is a source of trouble. That is a source of miseries. That is a source of sick body. You don't follow Krishna's instructions, don't take rest in the night, don't get up early in the morning, means the body suffers. It has to. See, money will not save you. See, even a rich person, they keep themselves awake till 2 a.m. in the morning. Then they wake up at 12 in the midnight, afternoon. Money doesn't help them. They're completely diseased. To the minimum extent we must have. That is the only thing. See, miseries will always coming, but we have to, through our sadhana, it has to be eradicated. See, we have to be very clear that devotional service or bhakti means there is some inner transformation in our hearts. Although there are a lot of external changes involved. See, the most important part of this is the transformation inside. And for this, we need to do a lot of introspection and contemplation, which alone can lead to realization. And this leads us to change in our behavior and attitude. So the transformation which happens inside is reflected outside in the form of good behavior and dealings. Actually, the process is inside out. Even though a lot of external guidance is provided to enable us to go through this inner transformation and get to the point of realization, right? That is why the super soul, Paramatma, manifests as our spiritual master to guide us outside, and he remains as Chaitya Guru within. In Bhagavatam, while describing what causes obstruction to our spiritual progress, is very nicely declared 4:22-32. There is no stronger obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization. So we have to change our thinking on what is beneficial for us. See, to understand this, I would like to share a very nice story. One day in an office, so all the employees reached the office and saw a big advice written on the door. What was written? It was written, yesterday the person who has been stopping your growth in this company passed away. Yesterday, the person who has been stopping your growth in this company passed away. So you are invited to join the funeral. In the beginning, they got sad for the death of one of their colleagues. But after a while, they got curious to know who was the man who stopped their growth. Everyone thought, well, at least the man who stopped my progress is died. One by one, the thrilled employees now got closer to the coffin. When they looked inside, they were speechless. They stood shocked in silence, as if someone had touched the deepest part of their soul. What was inside the coffin? There was a mirror inside the coffin, and everyone who looked inside could see him or herself. There was a sign next to the mirror that read, there is only one person who is capable to set limits to your growth. It is you. You are the only person who can influence your happiness, success, and realization. So our life does not change when our boss, friend, or company changes. Our life changes when we change. When we go beyond our limiting beliefs and we realize we are the only one responsible for our life. So it's very nicely said that if an egg is broken from outside force, life ends. But if it is broken from inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from our inside. That's why Krishna, after speaking the verses of Bhagavad Gita, instructs Arjuna in 18.63, Vivarshaitad asheshena yatechasi tatha kuru. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. So let us introspect on our own defects instead of blaming others for anything. And let us realize that blaming others is anti-Bhagavatam behavior. Anti-Bhagavatam behavior is blaming others. Anything, right? See, Prabhupada in the 25th verse, he says, we can increase our propensity for devotional service. How can we increase our propensity for devotional service? By hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from realized souls. The more we hear from realized souls, the more we make advancement in our devotional life. The more we advance in devotional life, the more we become detached from material world. The more we become detached from material world, as advised by Sri Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the more we increase in attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, Manu described the result of seeing a great saintly person. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that one should always try to associate with saintly persons, because if one establishes a proper association with a saintly person, even for a moment, one attains all perfection. See, somehow or the other, if one meets a saintly person and achieves his favor, then the entire mission of one's human life is fulfilled. And Prabhupada in 322.5 purport, he says, he's talking about himself actually. He says, in our personal experience, we have actual proof of this statement of Manu. Prabhupada is talking about himself in that purport, 322.5. He says, once we had the opportunity to meet Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. And on first sight, he requested this humble self to preach his message on the to the Western countries. See, there was no preparation for this, Prabhupada says, but somehow or the other he decided. And by his grace, we are now engaged in executing his order, which has given us transcendental occupation and has saved and liberated us from the occupation of material activities. Thus, it is actually a fact that if one meets a saintly person completely engaged in transcendental duties and achieves his favor, then one's life mission becomes complete. What is not possible to achieve in thousands of lives can be achieved in one moment if there is an opportunity to meet a saintly person. It is therefore enjoined in Vedic literatures that one should always try to associate with saintly persons and try to disassociate oneself from the common man. Because by one word of a saintly person, one can be liberated from the material entanglement. A saintly person has the power, because of his spiritual advancement, to give immediate liberation to the conditioned soul. So Manu admits that all his doubts are now over because Kardama Muni has very kindly described the different duties of individual souls. See, when a man comes into good consciousness and accepts a saintly person as a spiritual master, he hears many Vedic instructions in the form of philosophy, stories, narrations about great devotees, transaction between God and his devotees. In this way, a man becomes refreshed in mind, exactly like a person who smears scented sandalwood pulp all over his body and decorates himself with ornaments. Purpose is in the purport of 426.12. So these decorations may be compared to knowledge of religion and the self. Through such knowledge, one becomes detached from materialist way of life and engages himself in always hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other Vedic literatures. The word Sadvalankarta used in this verse indicates that one must be absorbed in knowledge gathered from the instructions of saintly persons. Just as King Puranjana began to search out his better half, the queen, one who is decorated with knowledge and instructions from saintly persons should try to search out his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. One cannot return to Krishna consciousness unless he is favored by the instructions of a saintly person. One cannot return to Krishna consciousness unless he is favored by the instructions of a saintly person. So therefore, Srila Narottama Das Thakura sings, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya, Chitete Karyo Aikya. If we want to become saintly persons, or we want to return to our original Krishna consciousness, we must associate with sadhu, saintly person, shastra, authoritative Vedic literature, and Guru, bona fide spiritual master. This is the process. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ताय गौर प्रमोदरी वांचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो। Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity to glorify the Lord and give ourselves. If you have any questions or any points to share, which is very useful, which touched your heart, that you can put into practice in your daily life, you can go ahead. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you told 1A, no Prabhuji, is PO1A, artificial standard of living. Can you explain it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, what we are doing is artificial. See, artificial standard of living is what is required for a minimum requirement that we should have. Otherwise, we have AC is there, television is there, washing machine is there. This all these things were not there. No, all the technological advancement is actually these are there for, see, for example, washing machine, so that we can save time. Otherwise, you do partially do okay, but by saving time, for what you are saving time? Maybe to come to Krishna consciousness, chant web more, read Bhagavad Gita more and all. But we don't do that. We all open the TV. Right? Then so it takes us away from Krishna. So these are artificial necessities. Minimum necessities are required. That's all for a basic living, right? But we go read by seeing others. Oh, he has. I also should also have. He has this one. I should have. I should have iPhone. I should have, right. I mean, all this. So these are artificial necessities which will actually are obstacles to your spiritual growth. So this that you can find out yourself when you introspect yourself. What are the things? Because for maintaining them, you require more time, and that time is lost, which can be utilized for your Krishna consciousness. So these are artificial necessities, Mataji. Is it okay,
Thank
Mataji?
you, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prab-
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Prabhuji, I
Krishna
have a
ji.
question. Can I speak in Hindi, Prabhuji?
हाँ बोलिए बोलिए.
प्रभु जी, हम लोग हमेशा सुनते हैं और हमेशा हमें ये प्रैक्टिस है अमान ही ना मान देना। हम हमें अपने लिए मान की अपेक्षा नहीं रखना, हमें दूसरों को
जी.
मान देना। तो ये जब हम भक्तों के संग में होते हैं, डिवोटीज एसोसिएशन में हैं, तब तो वो प्रैक्टिस करना करना इजी थोड़ा सा इजी होता है। बट वही जब हम अपने रिलेटिव्स या आप कहीं बाहर है जो कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं है, तो उनका तो है बस मुझे मान चाहिए, सारा प्रॉब्लम, सारा जो चीज़ है वो वहीं से शुरू होता है कि मुझे मान नहीं मिला, मैंने इतना किया। हर कोई इतना दिखाता है कि मैंने इतना किया, तो रिलेशंस
जी.
भी उसपे ही प्रॉब्लम होता है या आपस में इतना प्रॉब्लम जो भी होता है। तो वहाँ
जी.
पे हम उनको कैसे वहाँ पे हमें कैसे उनको मान देना चाहिए या कैसे हम उनको ये चीज़ समझा सकते हैं और सबसे पहले हम खुद भी कैसे स्टेबल हो सकते हैं इन चीज़ों से प्रभु जी?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu बोलते हैं ना, अमानी न मान. See, first of all, in material world, everybody expects appreciation from others, right? Name, fame. For example, suppose devotee association में होते हैं. If you are in the programs for a long time, Krishna consciousness, if you are a very good preacher, if you are a good singer, so you start expecting people to appreciate it. Otherwise, you feel dejected, frustrated, and you find faults with others and all. So this is not good. So whatever you're doing to glorify the Lord. Now your question is, in the relations, the material world, no? Maybe they are not in Krishna consciousness. See, first of all, we have to obey, right? Obedience is the greatest remembrance of Krishna. Obedience of elders is very, very important. Yeah, whether you're talking about elders, definitely we have to give मान देना ही चाहिए उनको. They might have, see, many people would have done so many help to you and all. So we should be grateful to that also. But people forget about those things and then they think they always expect that. So there are so many things, right? First of all, we should be, as far as we should only think about others. We may think of others or not, it doesn't matter. We should think about ourselves. Whether my sadhana is obstructed by all these things, by if I don't give any uh, obeisances or anything, obeying man to others, right? And if he feels hurt, then he gives back. Then you also feel hurt. Then ultimately, the cycle of revenge will go on. So we should, I think, in this given today in class, I think, forgive and forget about the being forgive. So we should first of all, if anybody criticizes, gives any harm, does any harm to us, we should think about it. This is all maybe see everybody is under the modes. Everybody is under the modes, and it is helplessly they are doing it. Maybe it's our karma that somebody has to come and tell us like this. we have to react. So since now we are in Krishna consciousness, we have learned so many qualities. By this quality, we can improve. So we should, yeah, like kama, krodha, all this, we should not get angry, we should not be envious. All these things are there, but we are still doing that. But before that is before Krishna consciousness. But after Krishna comes coming to Krishna consciousness, definitely it will have reduced. Maybe it will not zero. It will not zero so fast. How many janmas we have done, what all things we never know. But we are getting better and better. Now, the point is, you're telling somebody comes and if you don't give them the respect, then they feel angry and they get right. Then you also feel uneasy. So we should be very, very careful in these things. We should feel whatever they have done to us, whatever help or anything, we should be grateful to them. We should not. So we might have also done so much help to so many people in our lives, but don't expect anything in return. We are done for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna will be happy. We have helped certain people in their lives, maybe materially, right? So many things. So the point to understand is nothing, whatever we do in our activities in your daily life, it should not hinder in our sadhana, in our chanting, in shlokas and all these things. The moment we feel anxiety, the moment we feel angry, that means our sadhana is not good. So all these points like qualities, lamanina manadena, and all these things, we have to follow it as it is. It may be difficult, it's not very for me also to say is easy, but we have to practice. Just like Krishna, Arjuna told in Bhagavad Gita, right? To control the senses is very difficult. I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind, right? But what did Krishna say? I agree with you, but by practice, abhyas, you can do that. So this we have to practice. We have to understand these things. So by chanting more intensely with more taste, right? Association with devotees, it will happen. So this is how we can conquer the material miseries, Mataji. I hope with my limited knowledge I was able to.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, very, very touched by the fact that you said that spiritual masters are very merciful and they forgive all anarthas of the devotees and continuously keep encouraging them so that they don't get deviated. So I see that quality in you, Prabhuji, and I'm feeling very, very grateful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Sure. Hare Krishna. Yes. Encouragement is very, very important. Otherwise, people are already, so many people are already discouraged in their lives. Everybody is difficult. The moment you encourage them and be courageous in your devotional service, because so many difficulties will come happening. As I always say, Krishna gives in small doses examination, right? In the college, first we 10th, college examination is there for pass, then 12th, the level will be higher and higher, right? So in our life also, in devotional service, Krishna in between gives us some problems, right? Difficulties. But he gives us the strength also to withstand those difficulties and overcome them so that we'll get to the next stage. That's why better chanting, better recitation of slokas, right? So this way we can progress ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So nothing to worry because we are taken the shelter of Krishna. Nothing to worry. Problems may come, but we are under the shelter of Krishna, so nothing. It will not affect us. We can progress. Thank you, Mother Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nothing else? We'll stop here. Thank you very much, Mother Hare Krishna, for this opportunity. Jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Powerful session today.
Hare Krishna. Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kori Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I'll stop here now. I think I'm the most I have to